Hello and welcome. In this video, we will be focusing on position sizing. To start, position sizing refers to the size in dollar amounts that a trader uses for each trade. Now, all trades should end in one of four ways: a big win, a small win, break even, or a small loss. Notice how I did not mention big loss in there, as that can always be prevented by using the correct position size. Too large of a position size can result in a big loss that completely devastates a portfolio if a move occurs adversely to the direction of the trade. Each portfolio is of a different size, and just because the next trader over is using a position size of, say, $10,000 per trade, this does not mean that you should be using $10,000 per trade. The position size that a trader should use is respective to their portfolio size. If you have a $100,000 portfolio, you may be using $3,000 to $5,000 per trade. However, if you are trading with only a $10,000 portfolio, a bad trade with a position size of 3 to 5,000 can completely wipe away a large chunk of your portfolio. With that being said, position sizing is proportional to your portfolio size. Let's talk about what position size would be most appropriate for any portfolio size. A strong rule of thumb, especially for someone who is looking to make option trades, is to limit any position size to 3 to 5% of their entire portfolio size. Where exactly you size in this range is dependent on the overall risk of any given play, which means however much you can potentially lose if your stop loss is to hit should be used to calculate how much you can position size on that trade. Our goal as traders is to limit losses to only 1% of the entire portfolio size on any given trade. With that being said, if you have a stop loss of 20% on a trade, that means your position size should correspond to only risk 1% of your portfolio if the stop loss is to hit. So a 20% loss would equate to losing 1/5 of the equity invested into a trade. So how we can calculate position size would be to use the reciprocal of 1/5, which is 5, and then use 5% of your portfolio on that trade, since 1/5 of 5% is equal to 1%. This may sound a bit confusing, so let's put this in terms of an actual trade that we would make. Say we have a $10,000 trading account and we identify a trade where our stop loss would be right at 20% in the red. Well, we already calculated that our position size would be 5% of our entire portfolio, so we would invest $500 into this trade. Well, if the stop loss hits, then we would be looking at a loss of 20% of 500, which is 100. We also know that $100 is 1% of $10,000, which falls exactly within our limit of risking only 1% of our portfolio per trade. Now, if our stop loss was calculated to be, say, 25%, we would then put that in fraction form, and that would be 1/4. So we take the reciprocal of that to get our position size, which is 4%. So if our stop loss hits on that trade at 25%, we would lose 1/4 of 4%, which is of course 1% of our entire portfolio. Even the best trading systems in the world have high probabilities of seeing 10 losses in a row at some point. If too large of a position size is made, then 10 back-to-back losing trades can completely blow up an entire portfolio. If only 1% of a portfolio is risk per trade, 10 consecutive losses will not destroy an entire portfolio, whereas risking 10% of a portfolio for 10 consecutive losses will blow up a portfolio. As you can see, big losses should be removed from potential outcomes of trades by managing risk via your stop loss and using the correct position size. No trade is ever guaranteed to be successful, and it is imperative that proper risk management is always taken. Anyway, that will be the completion of this video. Thank you very much for sticking through and watching. Bye-bye.